Hi, I'm Austin with BoatEFX, and today we're going to be going over installing a 4-step AlumaStep. This one features an optional full handrail, super easy installation, full adjustability, and machined out of aluminum right here in the US of A. All right, so now your steps are delivered, let's get them unboxed and let's start getting them mounted on the boat. They're pretty easy to install. Most of the parts are already assembled. You just have to put the last few nuts and bolts on. Let's dive into this. So you're gonna have your foam. We'll install that after the steps are already on the boat. You're gonna have a hardware bag with your instructions. You're gonna have anti-seize. Your anti-seize is very important when it comes to putting a bolt and a nut together. With the stainless bolts, you have to use this or they could seize up. So please use this when you're installing. You're also going to receive a bag of Loctite. We'll need to use this when we're installing any of the hardware that is bolting into any aluminum part. All right, so first we're going to get the mounting tube connected to the winch post. On this boat, we are installing it on the port side. When you order the step on the website, you'll have the option to either select port side or starboard side. So when you get your steps, we'll have it set up for whatever side you would like it on. Once you receive the steps, if you change your mind and you would like it to switch to the other side, it is very easily adjusted to where you can adjust it to where it goes to the other side that you ordered it on. So this is this is going to mount around your winch tube. Don't pay too close attention to the the size of these brackets. We do make these in a assortment of sizes to accommodate different size winch posts. Today we're installing it on a 3x3 winch post. You'll grab your mounting hardware bag. It is labeled mounting hardware. It includes 4 7/16 bolts, and they will also vary in length depending on the dimensions of your winch post. When placing your order for your steps and deciding on which side of the boat you would like to mount the steps on, you need to take a few things into consideration. One thing to consider is which side is your trolling motor on. We want it to be easily accessible. So, if your trolling motor is going down the starboard side of your boat, you may want to consider mounting the steps on the port side. Another thing to consider is your spare tire location. Sometimes trailers will have the spare tire located, in or around the vicinity of the winch post, which would, on this one, it is on the starboard side, which is another reason why we opted to put the step on the port side of the boat. If you have any questions or you need any help deciding on which side of the trailer you would like the steps on, you can always give us a call or shoot us an email, and we'll link all that information at the end of this video. All right, so we're prepping our hardware to mount the mounting tube to the winch post. I'm going to take the 4 bolts. Going to include the washers on one side of all of them, like so. And then you are going to insert them through the mounting bracket. This AlumaStep is machined and composed of all aluminum parts, and the hardware is stainless steel, so it's definitely going to be corrosion resistant when you're using it in and out of salt water. Now that I have my bolts installed, I'm going to go ahead and install it on the winch post here. All right, so now that I have these installed, I'm going to get a washer and a nylon lock nut installed on the other side. Be sure when you do this to use the anti-seize that is provided, and that'll keep the threads lubed and from seizing up. All right, now we got all the hardware through the mounting bracket and the backing plate. Now we're going to get these bolts tightened up. Right now I just recommend just getting them snug where it will stay where you want it, because after we get through the installation, we may need to adjust the height on the winch post. We're going to use a 5/8 socket and a 5/8 wrench. It's to tighten these bolts up. I'm using an impact. You can also use just a regular hand wrench. You do want to tighten these kind of a star pattern a little bit at a time. Don't just tighten one side. All right, now that we got that installed, off to the next step. All right, next we're gonna assemble the adjuster hub assembly. It will become pre-installed all like this. You'll need to install the 8 5/16 flange, and you can notice that they are serrated. Let's get these out of the bag and get this on here. We did equip this. As you can see, there's a protrusion in this side and a hole in this side. We're just going to loosely adhere this hub assembly to the bracket. We're going to try to, you want this this flat right here to be parallel with the ground or the trailer. You'll want to use the supplied Loctite on these bolts as well as you're installing them. Our mounting tube does include this telescoping system here. When we're getting this all installed, I recommend removing the bolt that holds it together and putting this to the side. Then you can pull this tube out slightly. It gives you more room to tighten these bolts down. This makes it a little bit easier during installation. Now that we got the 8 5/16 bolts in, we just got them snug in case we need to do any minor adjustments here in a minute. Next, we're going to uninstall these bolts right here, and then once we get these out, we're going to get the step mounted to the mounting post here. All right, so your steps you'll have a 3-step like this affixed in your box. These are the holes you're going to mount to the mounting arm. So you'll want to find a good spot that fits you well. All right, so this is where we determined this would be the best height for this setup. So you can shove all the bolts through except for the center one, and then insert the bolts through the holes on the bracket. Then you can take an impact and get one and send them through the hole. Be sure to apply anti-seize to the bolts when you are putting the nuts on, and then you'll need to put Loctite on the center hole. And go ahead and tighten these down. All right, after we get it all mounted, then we're gonna need to add our 4th step. If you got a 4-step, 5-step, 6-step, and we even make a 7-step, they're all gonna, this top bolt will be loose. You'll need to take the nut off and the washer off, and then we'll go ahead and insert the 4th step. These go both directions, so if we were to do a 6-step or a 7-step and we have to mount it higher on the post, you can always add the step to the bottom so it comes down lower, or we can add more steps going up. And they'll all be listed in the instructions that come with the step. All right, so a good benefit with our step is, let's say you order a 4th step and you decide, it's really not tall enough for me. It'd be nice if it had a 5-step. With our design, it's very modular. Here's the 4th step. You simply just slide this in to here, and then you'll be able to bolt this down. And let me show you the 2-step. You could order this separately, and we can send this, and that'll slide right into place, and that'll give you your 5 steps. After getting your top step in, then you need to reinstall the bolt that you took out. Then reapply the nut and washer and tight down with your 9/16 socket and wrench. All right, next we're going to get the handle installed. We're going to use the two 5/16 hex flange bolts, insert them through the end, through the handle, and then into the here. Make sure you use Loctite on those. Next, you're going to take a 3/8 bolt that's 2.5 inches long. You're going to insert into the very top hole of your step, and then mate it up with your handle. We're installing this step on the port side, so the handle's going to come off this side of the step. If you were installing it on the starboard side, it would come off this side of the step. So you're just going to get this bolt snugged up. You don't want to tighten it all the way. And then you're going to want to take your 1/4 bolts and a washer. Then you want to apply some Loctite to these bolts, and then you'll insert them in through the slots into the top 1/4 holes. After we get the pitch of the step that we would like, you need to tighten the 2 bolts down on the adjustable bracket here using a 5/8 inch socket and 5/8 wrench, and be sure to apply the anti-seize to the threads before tightening them down. After you tighten the center bolt, you're going to tighten the end bolts, and these require a 9/16 wrench or socket. There'll be a bolt on the top and on the bottom. Be sure to tighten both of them. If you opted for the full handrail, you'll be supplied with another set of these, just like the first one. You'll repeat the same process as we did with this one, and that will be going down. You'll have to install it 2 steps down. Be sure when you're installing these that the open face of the handle slot points away from your tow vehicle. All right, now that you got your 2 vertical rails up, we need to install the last rail here. You'll need to grab the 4 black brackets that are supplied, 8 1/4 bolts, and 8 1/4 hex jam nuts. First, you want to install the 1/4s. We're going to put the head of it on the inside, while the nut's going to be on the outside of the step. Before you install the hex jam nut, be sure to put the supplied washers on there. Now we're going to install the handrail using the same hardware as we just used to install the bracket on the bottom. After you get all the bolts installed, then you'll need to go through and tighten them all up. All right, now we need to install the EVA foam. You need to locate this in your packaging. They're going to have these cutouts, as you can see here. You remove these to make room for the bolts that we installed for the handrail. For the foam pieces that are going on steps that don't have the handrail, you can either leave this foam in or you can remove it. It doesn't matter either way. When you are applying your foam, you need to make sure that the step is free of clear of any grease or dust or anti-seize or anything that you may have gotten it during the installation. If you do have any grease or oil, you can always use a little bit of alcohol to clean the step. After that, you're going to remove the adhesive. This adhesive on this foam is an industrial 3M adhesive. It is very sticky. So when you are installing these, be sure to put it in the right spot the first time, because you will not be able to remove it after you install it. Make sure it's even on all sides. Then once you like the location of it, You need to work the foam just to work any air bubbles out and get a good, nice seal. Be sure to apply extra amount of pressure on the edges. And repeat that step on all the steps that you have, whether it's a 3 to a 7 step. All right, now that we got the foam installed, we're pretty much done. We just need to go back through, all of your bolts and make sure you get them all torqued down to the proper rating. You need to look at your instructions for all the torque ratings. You make sure your step is level and you got it where you want it, and then go ahead and get it all tightened down, and then you're all set.